Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. 1 2 3 4. 1 2. 1 2 3. Test 1 2. 1 2 3 4.
Good morning. Welcome to our November meeting. It feels weird for me to say November meeting because I was thinking about last night. I'm like, oh my goodness, we only have one meeting left for the rest of 2021. So, but it's so good to see you here today, and for those of us seeing us via online streaming. Fall is my favorite season. Even though with a little coating on the ground, the snow on the ground, we feel like it's coming to the end. But fall is my favorite season, and we certainly have a lot to celebrate on campus of Western with the successful returning of many fall activities. Any steps towards normal is worth celebrating. We are in almost past the middle. We actually already passed the mid part of the semester, and we are preparing for the Thanksgiving break. Of course, we remember we're still in the midst of the pandemic. We are reminded that every day. However, with our strong and effective response plan, we have seen our students be able to attending classes, to do their research, and to practice. They can enjoy and applaud the performances and cheering the stadiums. We can see, we saw a very large attendance, a very good attendance for last night's football game, even though we wish the scores were a little bit different. But there will always be next game, and the next game we will do better. And we also see our faculties will go back teaching and doing researches and contributing to our community. And it's just such a privilege to me for me to be such a part of this vital community. So, Secretary Schuman, do we have a quorum for today's meeting?
Chair Chinzeng, we do.
And is the live stream functioning properly?
That's confirmed, yes.
Thank you. See, that again, this is one of the reminders if everything is working properly. And at this time, I would like to call on the board for a motion to accept today's agenda.
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Agenda approved. And are there any comments from the trustees concerning our September 17th meeting minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I abstain, Chairwoman.
Yeah, thank you. So this time of the year, since we're approaching the Thanksgiving time, I always reflect on myself for the things that to be grateful for. As my mom always tell me, count your blessings. She told me many times, every time I asked me for something when I was young, she told me, count your blessings. And so I have all the reasons that I think I can be grateful. We have our friends, we have our families, we have our colleagues, and our communities, and our beautiful university. Every time at the meeting here, I look at you folks, and I feel so grateful that I have the opportunity to work with you, to meet and work through all the challenges that we have. And God knows we have had many, and we will have many in the future. But also, we have the opportunity to celebrate together our successes, and we have had many, and we will have many in the future. I just feel grateful for the opportunity to work with great people like you for a better future of our university. So with that in mind, let's review today's agenda. It includes action items related to a permanent easement request from the Kalamazoo County Road Commission and the results of our university's external audit from Trustee Runboat. We will also hear a number of consent items today, including those related to curriculum, personnel, and an update on the university's non-discrimination policy and amendment, among others. In addition, we always appreciate hearing from Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Jennifer Bott. Today, Provost Bott will share a presentation about faculty and student engagement in research, an important and inspiring topic for our university faculty. At this time, I would like to ask President Montgomery, the leader in our aspirational affairs efforts, to share his remarks with the board and those in attendance.
Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. As you mentioned, we're obviously coming up quickly on the Thanksgiving holiday, and we know December is actually just around the corner. Seems as we saw that first snowstorm is kind of a reminder. We are in Michigan, and it is the fall, but that's good news, and we should be celebrating that and counting our blessings, as well as looking forward to commencement, which will come up at the beginning of the month of December. And we're going to have an in-person exercises at Miller Auditorium, and so we'll return another element of what has always made Western special, the chance to celebrate our graduates and their families and participate in what will be 3 different ceremonies on the 18th. Graduates will have the option to participate in person or virtually as they feel most comfortable. The program will be live streamed so that friends and family can watch from anywhere. Last week, we shared the news, earlier this week, I shared the news that our athletic director, Kathy Beauregard, will be retiring at the end of the year. Kathy has been an incredible leader and trailblazer on our campus. She's been in her profession at the athletic department as its leader for 42 years. She started out as a gymnastics coach and has been responsible for an incredible number of championships. She's been one of only 9 athletic directors at our level of football bowl subdivision universities who served there. She's the longest serving one at a single university. As I said, she's an award winner on numerous occasions. She has been a remarkable person of integrity. The fact that we as a university have benefited from that by not having any violations is incredible in intercollegiate athletics, and that's because of Kathy's guidance and insight. So we will miss her. We wish her and Rick the best in their next chapter. How about a round of applause for Kathy? And so one of the keys for Western has been how we support student success through offering our undergraduates chances to work with faculty investigators in research studies. During today's meeting, Provost Bott will share some examples of the power of working with faculty research and scientific inquiry for our students. I look forward to that presentation, and I see the value of this kind of engagement for our students, for the faculty members themselves, as well as for the institution. For students, being involved in research really can ignite a passion. It can be a way to find a career aspiration. It can be a way of discovering what really excites you about your field. It's a way to build new skills, to build a network, and contribute to society and knowledge. And so I think having more is something certainly we should be emphasizing and creating greater opportunities. I think for the faculty who get a chance to work with students in this kind of arrangement, it's an extraordinary opportunity to engage with bright, energetic contributors to bring new perspectives and new ideas even to the table. So it's a win-win for both sides. And so I'm proud of the opportunities that Western faculty have made available to their students in our university. I want to share some good news, especially when it comes to other news which will benefit our students as well. Recent updates from our advancement team shows that our community continues to work with our faculty and staff and support them through increasing donations. According to the most recent data, as of September 30th, Western's endowment is at an all-time high now of a little over $546 million. At the end of the first quarter of the new fiscal year, the number of donors to the university increased 42% over the same period in the previous year. The number of alumni donors have increased 65%, and looking strictly at undergraduate alums, that's increased by 94%. This is the third year in a row that we're in the process of growing our alumni participation and donation rates. It's a number that goes in U.S. News and World Report. One of the things we targeted when we said, when we came here, we wanted to increase the resources, and this was one of the strategies, and it's paying off. So thanks to all the people in advancement. Even more thanks to all the alums who are participating and giving back to this university. So with that, I'll turn it back to Chair Chen Zhang.
Thank you, President. So I had the privilege of introducing Kathy when she won the Michigan Woman Courage Award, and hear your amazing stories. So kudos to you in this relatively male-dominant industry, and you have set example for a lot of us. So thank you. At this time, I would like to ask welcome the representatives from our designated shared governance partners. And we have with us today Ms. Marilyn Kritzman, Faculty Senate President.
I usually use a ruler to keep my place in line, but today it doubles as a weapon. Just so you know, I'm coming protected and armed. Nothing bad, at least this morning. Good morning, Chair Chen Zhang, members of the board, President Montgomery, colleagues, and guests. On behalf of the Western Michigan University Faculty Senate, thank you for the opportunity to address the board and for allowing one of your partners in shared governance to update you on our activities. The Faculty Senate Board recently accepted the resignation of Dr. Dennis Simpson and elected Director Kieran Fogarty from Health and Human Services to fill his unexpired seat. We thank Professor Simpson for his service to the board and the Senate, and we look forward to the perspectives and insights Professor Fogarty brings to the Executive Board and the Senate. The Campus Planning and Finance Committee is developing a clear understanding of the state of Michigan capital and operational funding support and how it will impact this year's budget. They are planning a detailed review and analysis of the impacts of the new strategic resource management budget model and the potential impact on colleges and programs here at Western. Additionally, they are analyzing the student financial aid budget packaging and guidelines. The Graduate Studies Council is discussing graduate college initiatives to better support writing for their graduate students, and is also working with the Undergrad Studies Council on a memorandum of action regarding the summer session drops and adds policy. The International Education Council is working with the representatives of the American Council on Education's International Lab 2.0 in order to better focus WMU's internationalization efforts, and we're hoping that this will become part or included in the upcoming strategic plan. The administration has approved 2 memorandum of action, MOA 2105, which is the undergraduate certificate program, and this revision strengthens the minimum requirements of an undergraduate certificate by establishing the minimum required credit hours needed and firmly establishing the advanced and focused study of a certificate surrounding a specific topic or issue. Since undergrad certificates are intended for non-degree seeking students, this revision strongly encourages association with an external accrediting agency, as well as or in addition to an external professional organization. We've also had approval of MOA 1914, the fixed price agreement, and this MOA will address end-of-project reconciliation when funded projects end. The Faculty Senate Executive Board has established a firm 3-year cyclical review of all MOAs approved by the Senate and the administration, and that started this year. This is consistent with the University Policies Committee process and will require a routine review of the Senate Senate-approved policies. This will keep our current policies current and compatible with the changing needs of our campus community. The Senate Board has also approved an online comment period for MOAs approved by the Faculty Senate. The Senate currently has a 30-day comment period after an MOA is approved on the floor of the Senate, but honestly, we're not really sure where those comments go. We think they're in cyberspace somewhere, but when we look around for them, we can't find them. So we're going to give those comments a permanent home. Modeled after the University Policies Committee, this process will be housed on the Faculty Senate website and will allow senators to comment on MOAs, providing the 30-day comment period has not been waived by the Faculty Senate. One of the most important initiatives of the Faculty Senate in the last 10 years has been the WMU Essential Studies Program. We've heard about it. HLC's talked about it. We recently had a celebration. We called it the launch. We called it the first year anniversary. We kind of had to roll multiple events all into one to get caught up. But now that that's happened, it's time for us to move into the continuous improvement model of the essential studies. This is a three-pronged process to monitor the continuous approval, and the first step is the Essential Studies Administrative Review. The process ensures that courses within the program are being offered at least one time per year, and the course data on student learning outcomes is being collected. The progress monitoring component of this is outlined in MOA 1802, WMU Essential Studies Course Approval Guidelines. The WMU Essential Studies Director will lead this effort. The second prong is the WMU Essential Studies Cyclical Course Review. This process provides insight into the execution of the courses in the Essential Studies program. It has three components that they must meet. Number one, they must meet the intent of the category where the course has been housed. They must have a syllabi that clearly indicates and communicates the nature of the course as it relates to the WMU Essential Studies. And three, the course has an effective assessment plan. Please remember, this is not a curricular review process. This is a process improvement and review process, and we cannot confuse the two. And at this point, the Course Review and Approval Committee, fondly known as CRAC, you may interpret that in whatever way you wish, they are going to be responsible for completing the cyclical review process of these courses. Now, I don't have to go any further on that acronym. They will provide summary findings of all course compliance and quality to the Essential Studies Executive Advisory Board. They will also capture best practices and lessons learned about the courses at these levels. Now, our first review actually was opened yesterday, and the first phase started yesterday. It will be open until December 15th. Each course, and if one course is taught 10 times, there's one report, not 10. So we're working together on this. There will be one report submitted per course. That will be reviewed, and then the feedback will go back to the department or the departments that teach that course. This year, we're evaluating writing, societies and cultures, world languages and cultures, and oral and digital communication. There'll be more detailed comments in my remarks that I present to the board, to publish to the board. And the last part of it is the Essential Studies Annual Assessment Day. This will occur during spring semester, and the intent is to review the aggregated student learning outcomes data collected by category and by the student learning outcomes and the rubrics. If you teach within Essential Studies, and if you're interested in WES, you're invited to participate. The WMU Essential Studies Executive Advisory Committee and the Essential Studies Director will lead this process. And more information for the spring assessment day will be provided in the coming months. The Faculty Senate expresses condolences to the family of Professor Chris Corrin, who passed away last week. Chris was the director of the interdisciplinary PhD program, was a prolific researcher, scholar, and author, and was the current vice chair of our Research Policies Council. We will formally remember him at our December meeting. The Senate meets today at 5 o'clock, right down the hall in room 208, and again on December the 2nd at the same time. We're also live streaming our meetings. If you would have time and would care to join us, we'd love to have you there. Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang, for allowing me to address the board this morning. I will answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marilyn, Ms. Chrisman. I personally have big passion for the Essential Studies program. Actually, I have had several discussions for your predecessor on this. And I personally think CRAC is not a bad abbreviation because our program, the Essential Studies program, is aiming at filling the cracks in the knowledge base of our students so that we can prepare them better for this ever-changing world. It's my belief that with this ever-changing quick speeding, just think about what have changed in the past 10 years. Some of the knowledge they have learned is going to go stale once they go into the workforce in their field. They will require a lot of continuing education. However, the courses in our Essential Studies is aiming at to better prepare. It's a solid foundation. So it doesn't matter which stage of the career they're at, which field they go into, how the world changes, they are going to be prepared. So kudos to your effort for that. Next, we're going to welcome Ms. Alexis Morris from the WSA.
I make room for 2 iPads up here. Hello. Hello, everyone, and happy Mental Health Week. After all, I think we might need it after last night's game. But while on the topic of Mental Health Week, however, I'd like to acknowledge some well-deserved recognition to the WSA crew, composed of Vice President for Community Involvement Charles Poole III, Vice President for Student Affairs Alicia Ewing, and Vice President for University Pride Ashlyn Jackson-Truitt, who collaboratively made it all possible. With hours of dedication, hard work, and drive, this trio took Mental Health Week to a level not yet seen. With the spirit of collaboration at its core, WSA has been a proud sponsor for the week alongside the Campus Activities Board, the WMU Health Promotion and Education Office, and RSO's Active Minds and Removing Every Obstacle. Furthermore, we have been incredibly grateful for our ongoing partnership with the university's Office of Marketing and Strategic Communication, who recently promoted all of the week's events and provided coverage in the form of photo and video coverage for social media. Overall, we are incredibly appreciative of the support received thus far and are beyond grateful for the opportunity to serve the student body in such a tangible way by providing resources and programming of this nature. We cannot wait to undergo this again in the spring, given the current campus desire for an increased frequency and events such as these. Similarly, in line with the students' pulse, my administration has taken a strong stance on combating the stigma associated with student government here at WMU. While initially campaigning for our positions, Eric and I made it clear that we were focused on eradicating the internal toxicity the organization contains to the best of our ability. Despite its underlying presence, we have quickly discovered that it is possible to change, and it is not a permanent nor defining factor of the organization's true identity. Recently inspired by my short and ongoing tenure as a leader on the WMU Strategic Planning Committee, led by Provost Bott, WSA is set to launch its first ever strategic planning process during our Senate and House meetings on Wednesday, November 10th. The desired outcomes, rooted in governing process, organizational culture and operations, student-centric finances, and authentic outreach, aim to answer questions of who we are and what do we do, as well as tackle topics is cabinet adequately sized? And does a bicameral legislature really make the most sense for WMU's student population? The team and I are confident that this year-long initiative will continue to guide us into the future and ideally provide better opportunities for the next generation of Broncos to leave their lasting legacy on this institution. Furthermore, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the strong foundation for which all of this has been possible. On Friday, October 8th, WSA had the opportunity to gather over 100 of our closest friends, family, and colleagues to celebrate the centennial birthday of WSA, and are grateful for everyone in attendance. Moreover, we are beyond appreciative of the board's representation there that night, and particularly for Dr. Schumann for providing remarks on behalf of you all. As we seek to keep moving forward, we must remember where we came from, and continually recognizing our long history on this campus is something of importance to everyone in the organization, from representative to executive board member. Now, despite these ambitious goals and constant changes, WSA and campus at large has undoubtedly seen a sharp increase in engagement. And with that factor at play, WSA has seen an incredible increase year over year in allocations, collaborations, and sponsorship requests. As anyone with the org will tell you, it's no secret that one of my primary motivations for getting involved, and perhaps more importantly, staying involved with WSA, is to help the RSOs go from good to great when it comes to their success. In addition to logistics assistance and promotion, what RSOs certainly need most this year is money. And I'd like to give a special shout out to my allocations team for handling this reality with such grace and ease. While the Vice President for Allocations was unable to attend today's meeting, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Vice Chair Chen Kid-sun, who is in attendance today. He has been an incredible addition to the team and has done phenomenal work within his role. Some of my favorite endeavors that WSA has assisted this semester kind of run the gamut across campus. They include the Latinos Student Alliance's Hispanic Heritage Month, the Omani Student Association's Omani National Day, and the WMU Turkey Trot. Many of these aforementioned events have aimed to help increase awareness around cultural diversity across campus. On our policy side, WSA has also made significant strides in its commitment to recognizing cultural diversity amongst RSOs by passing the WSA Affinity Month Recognition Bill last week, which will require WSA to recognize their respective RSO and their culture during their Recognition Month or Independence Day. And it's as beautiful and wonderful as this engagement has been, it's certainly come with a cost. Admittedly, too many of our students are facing challenges that they may not have faced in 2 years, if at all. With midterms wrapping up during fall break and the end of the semester creeping up on us all, I can speak from personal experience when I say students are operating on a limited capacity. Between papers, assignments, quizzes, tests, labs, speeches, exams, and all due back to back or sometimes on the same day, our Broncos have shown incredible resilience to the hardship that this year has brought. But who would I be to talk about the recent hardship felt by students and not acknowledge the devastating news and events of last night? Our hearts are heavy. I'm sorry, I apologize. Our hearts are heavy within the WSA and across campus. So I'd like to recognize that this shock is felt by all, and you're certainly not alone. Despite challenges such as these, I'm confident that we as a student population will bounce back and finish this semester strong. Overall, I'm incredibly proud of all that our students have been able to accomplish at this point in their respective academic years, and cannot thank you enough on behalf of all of us who make this possible. From custodians to professors, dining hall staff to graduate assistants, trustees and staff, WMU is all of us and requires all hands on deck to leave it better than we found it. As always, onward for the brown and gold. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to share that our board is share your sadness about the news. So, but thank you for all your work. And I know it's been very hard, and it's a new norm, but you guys did a great job leading the student body to, just like you said, show the Broncos' resilience. Thank you. Next, we are going to welcome Provost Bat to talk about transforming relationships, the power of faculty and student engagement in research.
Fantastic. I'm going to go to the podium. Okay. This is the iPad you were talking about, isn't it? Right there. Okay. Oh, just made it to good morning. I was checking my watch to make sure we've got 18 minutes until it becomes good afternoon. I am so delighted to be here this morning to elaborate a little bit on what Dr. Montgomery began with today, which is the power of the relationship between our faculty and our students. That's something special that we here at Western, as a research-intensive university, focusing on not just our graduate students, but our undergraduate students, can offer as a competitive advantage. The relationship that you will see this morning is unique, but not uncommon. Many of our faculty dive deeply into their work alongside our students, and our undergraduates have extraordinary opportunity to participate, not as an observer, but actively in the research process, in the discovery process. And you will hear from an incredible group this morning, but please do know that there are many, 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 many others who are doing this work as well. But please do let me share a little bit about what you're going to hear this morning. My phone went to sleep. Please hold. My notes are on my phone and my book. I got notes everywhere. I am so pleased this morning and honored to present one of our university's finest, Dr. Elisa Perkins. You might remember Elisa's name because we said it together in this room not that long ago when we promoted and tenured her. Dr. Elisa Perkins is an associate professor in the Department of Comparative Religion in the College of Arts and Sciences. Her dean is joining us in the back, Dr. Carla Koretsky. Dr. Perkins is an anthropologist deeply involved in ethnographic research on Muslim American civic engagement in the Detroit metro area. She's currently collaborating with the nonprofit organization Dream of Detroit on the Detroit Muslim Storytelling Project, a public humanities initiative to build knowledge about the city's African American Muslim leadership with support from the Pillars Fund and the Whiting Foundation. Dr. Perkins received a $10,000 seed grant from the Whiting Foundation last year, which is an incredibly competitive process. The project is guided by the principles of community-based participatory research, a method in which the people who are most affected by the issue engage in collaborative knowledge production at every stage of the research process. To generate a collective vision, they enlist neighborhood residents, mosque congregants, local activists, media experts, and young people from within the community to take lead roles in the collection and curation of oral history material and to create public-facing outputs in partnership with university-based scholars. This is a gigantic undertaking, and today we're joined by June Pearson, a junior studying film, video, and media studies in our College of Arts and Sciences. They are a medallion scholar and a member of our Lee Honors College. Their work was supported by the College of Arts and Sciences Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities Award. The impact that June and Dr. Perkins are having on the lives in and around the Detroit area are difficult to overstate within the short introduction, but it is my pleasure to turn things over to Dr. Elisa Perkins and June. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Provost Bott, for that beautiful introduction. And thank you, everyone, for welcoming me. And thank you also for this opportunity and honor to present to the Board of Trustees. And as Provost Bott said, I'm here with my team member, June Pearson, to present on this community-based documentary and oral history project called the Detroit Muslim Storytelling Project, which represents a partnership between Western Michigan University and Dream of Detroit, a community organization. And perhaps it's important to note that this whole initiative was initiated by Dream of Detroit, not by Western Michigan University. So as Provost Bott mentioned, I'm an anthropologist, and I'm in the Department of Comparative Religion, and my title is Professor of Islam in America. And I'm one of very few across the nation to have that title. It was pretty forward-looking of Western to come up with that tag. It's a very new field, and I'm honored to be one of the first professors of Islam in America in the nation. As Provost Bott said, since 2007, I've been studying Muslim American civic engagement in Detroit, and that resulted in my first book called Muslim American City, which focused mainly on immigrant Muslims in the Detroit metro area. And, being in, studying immigrant Muslims in Detroit metro area, I did get very curious and eager to study another population of Muslims, which is African American Muslims in Detroit. And in 2019, I received an invitation to partner with a Muslim-led nonprofit organization called Dream of Detroit. And they wanted to create knowledge about African American Muslim leadership in Detroit. As leaders themselves, they saw themselves part as a very long and exciting legacy that they had taken up. And this invitation came from Mark Crane, the executive director of the Neighborhood Revitalization Organization, which is situated in a low-income West Detroit area, anchored by a large African American mosque. And I started out by partnering with him to apply for a small grant to fund an oral history and documentary film project. And that was called the Pillars Fund. That was our very first small grant. And the goals, of course, were to preserve the history of African American Muslims in Detroit. Secondly, to train young people from within the community being represented who identify as African American Muslims to play key roles in the project. And not only young people, but also filmmakers and media experts from within the community. And we received that first grant in 2020 and began the work. So the project aims to enhance public understanding of African American Muslim leadership in Detroit, but then also to increase the visibility of Dream of Detroit and its, as its legacy and how it is come from this longer legacy. Our main target audience is ethnically diverse Michigan Muslims, especially those in the suburbs, who are potential supporters of Dream of Detroit, but who are separated from this inner city engagement, this inner city neighborhood association by race, class, and residential lines. Immigrant Muslims are more upwardly mobile than African American Muslims due to a range of historical and socioeconomic factors, and we believe that there's a real will there that if more upwardly mobile suburban Michigan Muslims like in Ann Arbor and Bloomfield Hills and the suburbs knew more about Dream of Detroit, then they would expand their wonderful philanthropy that they're already doing, they would expand it to Dream of Detroit. So we saw a gap that needed to be filled. And then with producing our publicly engaged, our compelling outputs, it's not only for them, it will also be appropriate for students, activists, and interfaith groups across the nation. We always believe that the process of creating this knowledge is as important as the product. This goes along with the principles, as Provost Spot mentioned, of community-based participatory research, where people most affected by an issue engage in collaborative knowledge production because they are the ones most impacted, they have the most at stake, and they have the deepest knowledge about the issue. We are aiming to share our video-recorded oral history and documentary material in a publicly accessible archive, a website, a 60-minute documentary film, general readership publications, and my own ethnographic monograph, which will kind of be a complement to the project as a whole. We have already collected 50 video-recorded oral history interviews over the past year. Some of them were taken over Zoom because of the COVID, and some of them were live. The archive is a permanent way to showcase our video-recorded oral history interviews, along with summaries and keywords to make them discoverable. The archive that we have now was created in partnership with WMU Libraries, particularly with digital humanities librarian Amy Boko, using WMU's ScholarWorks, which is a division of B Press, and 30 of our 50 interviews are already there, with the rest to follow shortly. The website, whereas the archive features the long form of the 90-minute to, sometimes they're 90 minutes or 2 hours interviews, the website will take little gems from these interviews and present them in a more publicly digestible format. And then, of course, the documentary film, has been in progress, and that requires a lot more expert help from our filmmakers, and it's in progress. In addition to the community-based interns that are young people who are from the African American Muslim community, there's been 9 of those who are part of the mosques that are core to the project. We also have university-based interns, and we have university-based interns, of course, most importantly from Western Michigan University, but also from around the country. So far, we've had about 24 university-based interns. Most of them work remotely on various aspects of the project, including transcribing, video editing, and then those with library science background have done our archiving for us, and they're either volunteer or they get course credit. And in some cases, universities have generously provided stipends. These are competitive stipends for students to get involved in research, such as the case of Western with the College of Arts and Sciences Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities Award has been so generous to give us 4 different of these stipends. And of course, one of them went to our team member, June, who will be presenting in a moment. Looking ahead, our project is in full swing. I still think we're in the beginning quarter of our multi-year project. We still need to gather the next 50 interviews to complete our archive, which we're hoping for 100. We are working on the website, and even this past weekend, I spent the whole weekend in Ann Arbor doing a shoot at the Dream of Detroit Leadership Retreat. Suddenly, I became a film producer. It's unexpected. And so we're also finalists for 2 prestigious grants, 2 other grants that we're finalists for, and we're going to keep applying for others. And so now it's a pleasure to introduce again June Pearson. As President Montgomery mentioned earlier, it's definitely a win-win situation when faculty gets to work with energetic and talented students who bring in their own, reservoir of knowledge and skills and teach. I don't know anything. I didn't know anything about film editing and how to read a video as you would read a text, and how to parse it and how to organize it and take things away to really and add things to make it very compelling. And this is something that June has taught me. So June, again, is one of the recipients for the College of Arts and Sciences Undergraduate Research and Creative Activities Award. And he worked in summer 2021 with our team, and hopefully is still going to be involved and continue the internship in the future. And so now I'll turn it over to June, and thank you.
Thank you. Just want to thank Dr. Perkins for the introduction. But yes, my name is June Pearson, and I am currently in my junior year of my undergrad pursuing my film, video, and media studies degree with a minor in creative writing. As I hone my craft under Western Michigan's tutelage, I seek to use the skills I've amassed in my studies to give voice and agency to local communities and minorities. Rather than wait for someone to uplift me and the causes I care about, I seek to take my talents and enable them to tell anyone to tell their own stories. When I applied for the Detroit Muslim Storytelling Project, I was searching for an opportunity that would allow me to apply what I've learned about digital storytelling and filmmaking in aid of a greater cause. The Storytelling Project also happened to be located in my hometown, which gave me the opportunity to learn more about Detroit's African American Muslim communities. As a member of the Dream Storytelling Project team, I worked both remotely and on-site at the Muslim Center. And when I was available at the mosque, I would assist with video production on-site, sometimes working with other interns on larger events, one of which was a videography training taught by filmmaker Malika Shabazz, where I learned how to conduct interviews for the project. Another was the Woodward Eid cruise, in which I recorded footage of the decorated Muslim holiday parade driving through downtown Detroit. The footage I captured was then used in a video work sample that helped the project receive an external grant. When working remotely, I spent my time video editing for the project, cleaning up raw footage that would be added to the project's archive. I edited various interviews of African American Muslim community leaders, including both men and women, and prominent leaders such as Minister Troy Mohammed, head of Detroit's Nation of Islam Temple. Working on the Storytelling Project was a valuable experience that I will always cherish for the relationship I fostered with Dr. Perkins and Dream of Detroit, as well as the ability to list my contributions to the project among my accolades. This project gave me the experience to gain relevant experience in my field, which will enable me to work towards going to graduate school and becoming an established Black filmmaker. And I would just like to thank Provost Bott, President Montgomery, and the Board of Trustees, and everyone in attendance for the opportunity to speak, as well as Dr. Perkins for all she's done for me.
technology. Thank you for giving us such a great topic, and thank you, Dr. Perkins, and thank you, June, and what an incredible project. I like all the projects about histories, finding legacies, because our legacy that we identify with is the forecast of our future, that we build our future on. So it's incredibly meaningful. And June, I envy your career. Sounds so much more interesting than finance and dealing with numbers. So congratulations, and that's an incredible collaboration between the two. So thanks for a very nice presentation. And so we have bunch action items today. So at this time, if anyone would like to remove any of the consent items for further discussion?
Chair Chen Zhang, I think we have got the action items first before we get into consent. If we could move through number 10 and 11 first, please.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to remove 10 and,
No, so again, if we could go with number 10, we're not yet to consent items. So if we could move into an actual action item with Colleen Scarf.
oh, sorry,
Is it-
yeah, my bad.
No problem.
Moving too fast. So we're going to have do we have any comments regarding the action items, Secretary Schumann? No?
We do not have any stated public interest in making comments regarding action items. Thank you.
Okay, so our first action item is the permanent easement request from the Road Commission of Kalamazoo County.
Good morning. The Road Commission of Kalamazoo County has requested a permanent easement for consideration of $1 on property owned by the university at North 24th Street in Plainwell. This will allow for work planned on a street improvement project. The parcel of property houses the WMUK radio tower, transmitter tower for the university, and with review by the university indicates no concerns on our part. So our recommendation today is for approval to grant the Road Commission their permanent easement. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? No. I learned from my, I attended 2 years of law school, I did not finish it, but I learned for any contract to exist, you have to have $1.
Yes, yes, we didn't want to get into the donation
Exactly, because
conversation.
$1 is consideration. So therefore, hence the
Thank you
$1.
for that. Yes, thank you.
So if we don't have any comments, can I have a motion to, the roll call? Yeah, let's have a roll call. Secretary Schumann.
So you need a motion.
Do we have a motion? First?
Support.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes.
Secretary Schumann.
Chair Chen Zhang.
Yes.
Trustee Edgerton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnston.
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld.
Yes.
Trustee Trevan.
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. And next is the Western Michigan University external audit from Trustee Reinveld. Please.
Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. The WMU Audit Committee, which I sit on, assists this board with oversight of the external auditors and the integrity of the yearly audit. The Audit Committee oversaw the audit for the year ending June 30th, 2021, conducted by Plant Moran, and voted to recommend that this board accept this audit. I'm going to read the action item now. It is recommended by the board accept the 2021 external audit report dated September 23rd, 2021, conducted by Plant Moran. And again, I'll take any questions if there are any by this board.
Any questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the action item?
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Chair Chen Zhang.
Yes.
Trustee Edgerton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnston.
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld.
Yes.
Trustee Trevan.
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, motion passes.
Thank you. Now we move to the consent items. If anyone would like to remove any of the consent items from the, for further discussion?
Chair Chen Zhang, as the consent items are amassed prior to the meeting, we work in good faith in order to accomplish those things prior to the meeting point. I would like to remove F from the agenda at this point. We do not have a lease agreement at this point, and we'll look towards that for a future meeting.
Thank you. So we are going to remove F from the consent items. And then do I have a motion to approve the consent items excluding item F?
So moved.
Support.
Chair Chen Zhang.
Yes.
Trustee Edgerton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Johnston.
Yes.
Trustee Reinbelt.
Yes.
Trustee Trevan.
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, consent items pass.
Thank you. So that leaves us to the last point. Do we have any general public comments?
Thank you.
Secretary Schuman?
I did have someone indicate early on that they might have interest in speaking prior to that deadline. Is there a Damaris Vale Mencho here by chance? With that, Chair Chen Zhang, there is no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. With that meeting, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and we're looking forward to seeing you at December meeting wearing our holiday outfits. Holiday mask with rhinestones and blings.